Hello, everybody. GG for GB here from KOJW. I got a special phone call coming in from my chief of staff. There we go, chief of staff down in California. I sent him out to LA because we want to monitor the Zeb effect, and the governing body here. We're studying, these videos, like what's happening, and I'm trying to explain to the other members what's happening, but we want to talk about the effect. So my chief of staff, Nixon Presley's out there. He should be calling in pretty soon, and when he calls, we'll go ahead and start the show.
We're gonna win so much, you may even get tired of winning.
That's Nixon Presley. Hey, Nixon Presley, you're live at KOJW here in Wallkill. They sent you out to Los Angeles to study the Zeb effect. What do you got for us, Nixon Presley?
Well, it looks like different Kingdom Halls. They're reeling, they're on defense, what I call defense. And so what's happening in the Santa Monica, Los Angeles area, let me give you an example, like the Grand Avenue, El Segundo, California, Kingdom Hall. If you drive by there and you'll see cars, 2, 3 elders, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. So what are they doing? They're either in judicial committees. If you served as an elder, they're in judicial committees. But I really think if you see the different Kingdom Halls all over the valley, on Vernon and on Tampa and in Reseda, different areas, they're all in warning. They know Zeb is visiting different congregations, so they're on defense.
That's true because in Yuma, Arizona, when I did the flyby, one of the elders confessed to a sister how much he hated me because he was in meeting after meeting after meeting, and he couldn't get anything done. They didn't, and it goes to your point. So why is that a good thing where Jehovah's Witnesses are being on offense?
Well, I don't think the average publisher understands it. What's happening with Zeb is he's putting everybody on defense. They're on defense. They've never seen anything like this, similar to what Derek O'Hare did in Britain. But now it's coming home to the United States, and what's happening is they don't know how to handle live activism. They probably heard about it, but they don't know what's happening. And why is it good? It's because imagine a young Jehovah's Witness kid who wants to play baseball or soccer or wants to date somebody or go to the prom. This is the time the elders would be spending visiting them, shepherding, what they call shepherding. But because they have to stay up until the middle of the night playing defense on Zeb gives cover for all these kids. So the elders have to spend all their hours plotting and strategizing with the ushers, with the ministerial servants, how they're going to handle people like Zeb visiting their congregation. So it lets kids in the congregation fly under the radar. So it gives them a lot of cover. So this kind of activism is kind of good. It kind of brings a little bit of freedom to the average Jehovah's Witness adolescent who maybe doesn't want the elders giving them a shepherding call.
Correct. And also the single mothers are
free from this as well.
Correct. And the other thing, what about when we talk about preaching to the choir? Sometimes when you're doing activism, a lot of times we're not getting outside influences in. So sometimes the message, like when I did the flyover in San Diego, it was 100% for the J-Dubs. But the other projects that we have going is we're now targeting our audience to non-Jehovah's Witnesses, so that way they can put the pressure on their Jehovah's Witness family.
Yeah, correct. Well, if you notice in Zeb's videos and flyby videos, to what you're saying, all the Jehovah's Witnesses, they shun. So they're really not listening to you. So if you watch Zeb's videos, the brothers are programmed, kind of like you mentioned, the Norman Vargas effect, when that brother just put his hands over his ears. They don't want to hear anything. They don't want to see anything. So, but what Zeb does, even though he is preaching to the choir, he's putting them on defense. He's putting them on defense. Now, other brothers are preaching in their community churches, to their politicians, to the hospitals, and being kind of like an anti-hospital liaison committee, or a truth, speaking the truth about the hospital liaison committee. What it does, every form of activism is good. Zeb kind of puts the local elder bodies on defense, and it really messes up the local body of elders. It really messes them up. They're not going to go home at night. They're not going to sleep at night. They're going to be on defense. They're going to be worried about where the next attack is. It going to be at Santa Fe Springs? Is it going to be on Patrick Avenue? Keep them all. Is it going to be at the Mountain View? Keep them all. Is it going to be on San Fernando? And so it just keeps them on defense. They're not going to sleep. There's no rest for the weary.
Correct. Hey, and I wanted to bring up this one thing. You purchased for $24.95. You went ahead and bought 100 of those postcards. Me and the governing body, the picture of me with newly elected member. Now that one is my personal attack on my hometown, but you decided to use it as well for your friends in the Jehovah's Witness who are still Jehovah's Witnesses. But
in the Phoenix area, for example, when I get back home, we can mail it to the local churches in the neighborhood, and I'm just going to work my circuit, my territory. And so I'm going to, you and other apostates are working to preaching to the choir, like you mentioned. But I think the postcards have an effect outside of the choir. In other words, sending it to the different churches in the neighborhood, send it to your local Catholic church in the neighborhood, the Baptist church, the independent churches, the Methodist churches, to your politicians, to your mayor, so that they can be informed of what's going on in the Jehovah's Witness movement. Or, for example, if an elder shuns you at your local grocery store, hit everybody that is his neighbor.
Correct.
And, for example, if your mom shuns you, send one to all your mom's neighbors.
correct, because my sister has the persecution complex because I mailed the letters to all of her neighbors because my brother-in-law is a former circuit overseer and the city overseer as well. And I told them, please tell the Jehovah's Witness elder, your neighbor, to report the pedophiles to the police. And that one makes the Jehovah's Witnesses feel that they have a persecution complex, but at the same token, they're receiving heat from non-Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah. Now, you got to remember, Jehovah's Witnesses are going to shun you. They're not going to listen to you. So these postcards, if you mail them to Jehovah's Witnesses, they're going to go straight into the trash. They're going to have absolutely no effect. No effect. So you send them to the neighbors of the Jehovah's Witnesses. For example, let's say there's you mentioned your sister, and you send it to her neighbor, and she's going to ask her, what is this in your congregation? So now they're forced to not shun you. They're forced to answer the question. Where if you and Zeb, or all the Jehovah's Witnesses that confront Jehovah's Witness, the Jehovah's Witnesses are trained to shun you. So what these postcards do, or this type of activism, it forces. So, for example, a Jehovah's Witness will always ignore an apostate. But if an apostate starts talking about Jehovah in the public sector, it will force the Jehovah's Witness to defend the divine name. He cannot shun you. He cannot shun you. They instinctively want to defend God's name. So these postcards, with you and the governing body of Jehovah's Witness, they're going to ask you, so they're forced to confront this postcard.
That's good, yeah. And you know what they're going to say? Oh, this guy is crazy, whatever. But when they see the videos, when they see the Australian Royal Commission, it's going to be egg on their face.
Yes, because you got to remember, they are a secret society. They live in secrecy, and so they live in secrecy. forced to confront this issue. Since they're a secret society, everything they do is in secret. This postcard is the opposite of secret. This postcard is in the U.S. mail. It is put into the post office. It is handled by postal carriers. It is sent to churches. It is sent to kingdom halls. It is sent everywhere in the public square. So it's the opposite of secrecy. This is done way out in the open. It forces Jehovah's Witnesses to deal with you. In other words, kind of like shun this is what you're saying.
Oh, kind of like that little boy in the movie. What was that movie?
The problem child.
Ignore this.
Ignore this.
So, well, that's great. Well, that was Nixon Presley. Hey, we have a few more assignments, and I'd like to have you back on KOJW. What do you think about our new radio program, KOJW?
It's real good. I think more communities could use this. I think it's a good outreach to spread the word outside of the Jehovah's Witness community of what is happening inside the Jehovah's Witness community. And I think KOJW, if it keeps doing that, if it spreads the message about Jehovah's Witness revolution going on inside the congregation to the rest of the world, I really think that Jehovah's Witnesses are trained to ignore you. And so KOJW, if it sends help, if it asks for help outside of the normal Jehovah's Witness community, I think it's going to be a success.
Great, great. Okay, well, that was Nixon Presley, my chief of staff, reporting live from Los Angeles. Can't wait till you get back to Phoenix, Arizona, and we can start working on our next project.
Real good.
If you'd like to get involved and send postcards to your local elders, or you'd like to purchase postcards, go ahead and get a hold of me at gilbert@jwcrisis.org or call the 08 hotline, 602-318-6797. Be a patriot. Get involved.